Let's begin. Welcome. Thank you for coming to another Kulanu Experience Zoom. Kulanu has been working with the Uganda since 1995. There are over 20 synagogues there now, conservative and a few Orthodox. There are about 2,000 people in total. It was founded over 100 years ago, and they are now seeing third and fourth generation Jews born there that have no connection to anything Christian or anything African, but only know Jewish. Kulanu funds deaf education and several schools, the Hadassah School, the Ben David School, Tikkun Olam, in addition to holiday funding. And we were honored that Rabbi Shoshana Nambi just got ordained about 3 weeks ago. She's from Uganda. And that's what I want to say about Uganda. Some of you may know a lot more about it. I would like to introduce Rabbi Michael Chernick. Okay. Rabbi Michael Chernick is an Orthodox rabbi ordained from Yeshiva University and holds a PhD in rabbinic literature. Rabbi Chernick taught at Hebrew Union College, the seminary of the Reform movement, and is a professor emeritus of rabbinic literature there. He also held the chair in Jewish law and social justice. He refers to himself as a Jew for all Jews. Rabbi Chernick has authored 3 books on rabbinic methods of interpretation of the Torah, titled The Great Voice That Did Not Cease. He has written many scholarly and popular articles on rabbinic literature, Jewish law, and contemporary issues, the Jewish religious scene, and Israel. Most recently, Rabbi Chernick has been active in Achla, the Partnership for Abayudaya Rights, which is a social justice and political action organization working with our Abayudaya partners to gain the community's just rights in Israel. These include the right to make aliyah and the community's youth to participate in Jewish educational programs in Israel. I'd like to turn this over to Mali to do a little bit more. Well, we're honored to have him, and I want to add, Michael is on the Kulanu board, which we are very proud to have him there. Mali, would you like to show the short Kulanu video and thank our sponsors?
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu.
So we wanted to share that video so you could see all the work that's being done by Kulanu in many different countries around the world. So Kulanu supports isolated, emerging, and returning Jewish communities in more than 30 countries. And we wanted to thank the sponsors for today's program. So thank you to Adele Charnas, Renee Feinstein, Margot Martin, Dr. Harley Shaw, and Rabbi Gerald and Benita Sussman. Thank you so much for your support.
Okay, so let's turn this over now to Rabbi Michael Chernick.
So I'm representing ACHVA, the Partnership for Abayudaya Rights. The issues that we have to confront are really the problems that have been created by the Ministry of the Interior of the State of Israel, which does not recognize the conversions that took place between 2002 to 2016 of the Abayudaya. Now, under the law of return, any conversion by any recognized group or denomination, like Reform, Orthodox, or Conservative, is absolutely accepted under the law of return for the person to be considered Jewish and Aliyah. Year 2016, the Abayudaya were recognized as a community with all the rights to make Aliyah, for the kids to attend birthright and Matzah programs. Matzah is a half-year program sponsored by the Jewish Agency. And there was a concordat that established that any recognition that was given by the Jewish Agency would also be recognized by the Ministry of the Interior. However, the Ministry of the Interior created a new regulation related to the law of return and said that there are certain communities that are recognized communities and other communities that are emerging communities. And they define emerging communities as communities that were started by converts. Well, obviously, the Abayudaya community was a community started by converts. And those communities are not recognized as Jews, and their conversions are not recognized as conversions. The big question is, when do emerging communities ever become regular communities? If they were started by converts, 25 years later, are they still considered to have been started by converts, no matter how well developed they are? Which is the case with the Abayudaya. It's a very well-developed community. It has boards, it has schools, it has medical facilities. So in many ways, it reflects a pretty Western sort of organizational structure and really should be considered a recognized community. Now, we have turned over and over again to the Jewish Agency because of their recognition, and they have pretty much walked away from that recognition on the grounds that the Ministry of the Interior defines the Abayudaya as an emerging community. This despite that 2016, the Jewish Agency said they were not an emerging community, but a recognized community. This has made it impossible or very difficult for those in the Abayudaya community who want to make Aliyah to do so. And their young people and young adults cannot take any benefit from the birthright tours, Matzah programs, or any other programs of Jewish education in Israel as it stands now, on the grounds that they are not Jewish. ACHVA, the Partnership for Abayudaya Rights, started about 5 years ago. We have been fighting the good fight, but we have been fighting it from a distance. And what we have decided to do is bring 10 to 12 representatives of the Abayudaya community to Israel. As a fundraiser, in order to do that, and the cost for us will be about $100,000 plus, we created a video that would be a marketing piece. People would pay for the privilege of seeing the video, buying a link, and being able to see this really wonderful production. And the production has been very well accepted by many people. And we're going to give you a little bit of a picture of what was done as part of this production. Now, I just want to point out to you that what you're going to see is like the last minutes before the final production was made. So I'm doing that because there's some interesting and sometimes funny aspects of what was going on by the Abayudaya Music to the World Choir and Orchestra really is. So pretty much this is on with the show. And I hope that everybody here not only enjoys it, but understands that this program keeps on going on. You can buy yourself a link and help us to get our 10 to 12 representatives of the Abayudaya community to plan and to speak, and people who are within the government who are sympathetic to their plea and case. So I think by bringing some Abayudaya people to Israel, we will really put a human face on the Abayudaya to the Israeli public. Hopefully that will bring us closer to getting them their fair end in the state of Israel.
Michael, are you aware that your video is coming in and out? Like that you're freezing in between sentences?
Okay, I am a little bit. I can move this computer to someplace where we might be more successful in making it work. So let me just do that.
I'll share the first video while you move. Okay. A few minutes.
Well, I don't think I really have to explain too much about Shema Yisrael. The question is, really, does this kind of music appear in the actual services that are run by the Abayudaya? The answer to that question is yes. If you heard some point the soloist there, Aaron Natika, actually was saying the words of the first paragraph of the Shema. And sometimes, even though they will be saying the entire section of the Shema in Hebrew, the truth of the matter is that there is sometimes breaking out into song and the use of the Shema in not only Hebrew, but the local language was Uganda. So you heard a little bit of a mix of one thing and the other in terms of language. This is kind of a way that, you can hear the Shema, but for those people that don't know the Hebrew, they get the sense of what the Shema is talking about. And so it is used liturgically. But even so, there may be a continuation of the Shema in the original Hebrew language. One other comment that I would like to make about this is it's so obvious that what you're hearing is really the Shema put to a very serious African beat. It's kind of soul music, as I like to call this, soul music from the heart of Africa. And it shows you that Abayudaya music, and by the way, all this is composed and arranged by the choir and orchestra. So what you're really hearing is them taking very seriously the African piece of what it is to be Abayudaya, and putting it together with the Jewish piece of who they are. So that was Shema Yisrael, and I think we all, have very good connections to that watchword of the Jewish faith, and it certainly was done in a fairly exciting fashion in that particular piece that we just saw.
Molly, would you like to do the next piece?
I see I'm a little blurry, but I moved a little bit closer to my router so we don't have the difficulties with turning in and turning out. This was a psalm that is recited after Yom Kippur. It's sort of a piece of the Ne'ilah. As you can see, there's a lot of breastfeeding, and that is obviously not atypical of what is done on Yom Kippur. The meaning of the words is my heart is not haughty. I'm ready to be submissive to the will of God. Please forgive me for our sins. There was a line there that was in Hebrew, and it says Yachel Yisrael al Adonai, or Hashem, which they use frequently, that Israel should hope in the Lord and that God will forgive them. So this was a real, fully Ugandan language presentation of Psalm 131, said at the end of Yom Kippur.
Michael, can you introduce this piece before we show it? It's the 7-minute piece.
Yeah.
And first introduce it, because we would like to know the information before we see it. This may
Yeah.
be the last piece because we want to do questions and answers after. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This last piece is called Love. It's really about loving the entire world and embracing all people. You may hear a couple of names of countries in the middle of it, but it's a showstopper. One of the things that happens, though, and as I said, these videos, these pieces, are kind of right next to or right at the edge of the final production. They aren't the final production pieces. So you're going to see the beginning of it that J.J. Keki is going to try to introduce the song, but behind him are going to be chickens. There are going to be a couple of children speaking, and we don't really get to hear him very well. In the last iteration of this particular video, we removed the chickens and Keki and the kids so that we would have a more polished production. But I have to say that it's more fun to see everybody trying to get their words in with chickens and chickens and kids and everything ongoing behind them. Just remember that section gets edited out ultimately. And this song of love to the entire world is really, really beautiful. If you can raise the sound, it would be great. By the way, a lot of this was done, as you can see, outdoors in the Ugandan, very Ugandan beautiful places.
The Lord commanded us to obey only this law. It is saying,
Wow, Michael, that Rabbi, it's magnificent. These are magnificent. I should tell everybody that we're going to put the link, we're recording it on the website, should you want to share it with other people, because it's magnificent.
Can I ask just one favor? And you can shorten this. I'd like to show Avinu just for a minute. We can even
Okay,
cut it at some point. That would be
fine,
fine.
fine. And then we'll go into question and answer. I see there's a whole bunch of questions and comments in the chat. Molly will interview Rabbi Michael.
Okay, that's about enough. If anybody knows what was going on there, they were singing the prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shebashamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Goalo. I really wanted everybody to see that, because the feeling of the Abayudaya for the state of Israel is very strong. You'll see the Israeli flag plastered all over the place, sometimes painted on a synagogue or a school, sometimes actually an Israeli flag that is an Israeli flag hanging from a place. So there is this real connection to Israel. There is the observance of Yom HaAtzmaut, Yom HaZikaron, and the connection to Israel is very, very close. And I really wanted to show Avinu Shebashamayim, because it tells you that the Abayudaya are very connected to Israel. And unfortunately, the love affair doesn't go in two directions. So it's really our job at Achva to try to make a shidduch, to somehow make Israel understand how much the Abayudaya love Israel, and to try to get Israel to love the Abayudaya more than they have up till now.
Thank you, Rabbi. So we'll start with the first question. This is from Peter Silvergate. And he asked, why not file a suit in Israeli courts to secure a writ of mandamus forcing the Interior Ministry to recognize the Abayudaya?
Okay, so the first thing that will have to happen is that you would have to have a court case. So we have had one situation, which is has taken place there. This is the case of Yosef Kibita. A difficult case because the recognition of the Abayudaya went back only 2000 to 2009, and his conversion took place in 2008. It went on for 4 years. Yosef had 3 conversions of various different times in different places. He finally got his temporary ID, and that is going to be made into a full citizenship arrangement, and within a couple of weeks, actually. So yes, there's been some success, but it was really a very long process and a very painful one for him. Now, the problem is that, and I'll give you a good example. A woman of the Abayudaya put in a Aliyah application to the Jewish agency. The letter she got back was a two sentence letter that said to her, we cannot process your application because the Ministry of the Interior doesn't think you're Jewish. That was basically the tone of the letter. Achba got into the fray on this one and actually spoke to Eric Fingerhut of the Jewish of JFNA, the Jewish Federation of North America, which gives a lot of money to the Jewish agency. And we said, this is ridiculous. It's up to the Jewish agency to process this. Then it gets past the Ministry of the Interior. If the Ministry of the Interior decides that it wants to reject this application for Aliyah, that's their business, but it's your job to process it as far as it will go. Ultimately, we told JFNA, if you don't, if you don't help this person in terms of getting her application processed, we're going to have to call out the Jewish agency and maybe you as racist, because she was converted as a 209, maybe even 210, and had every reason to believe that she would be admitted under the law of return. In that particular case, we were successful and her application was indeed processed. So you have to have a court case. I mean, that's basically where it goes. I don't know whether this was followed up. Sometimes people make the application, find it is going to take them many years to have it settled, and don't know exactly how to approach the issue. Who are the lawyers that you have to get involved? What do the courts work like? The Abayudaya, are not always so sophisticated about these matters. So unfortunately, I think this person has decided just to remain in Uganda.
So I have another question here. When Kulanu first publicized the existence of the Abayudaya, it was said the Abayudaya had no interest in leaving Uganda. And I thought that was a mistake. Jews everywhere should not have the condition of recognition on them not wanting to leave their country for numerous reasons, including mainly economic ones. So that is the askers. Oh, that's Edie. So Eddie Eiches has asked that question.
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. So basically, the question is about whether or not the Abayudaya do have the desire to all leave Uganda, or is it just a certain percentage, or kind of what are your thoughts on that?
If I could I asked the question.
Yes.
If I could just clarify it. So this was at the beginning, Kulanu was founded sort of about 1992 when 1/3 of the Jews on the tarmac in Addis Ababa after the United States Jews gave 34 million for Mengistu to get out, were left there because they were, quote, not Jewish. Well, initially when the Abayudaya when Kulanu discovered, I mean, when the Abayudaya existed, but it was emphasized by Kulanu. And guess what? Of course they're Jews, and they have no interest in leaving Uganda. And I thought, well, why wouldn't you want to make Aliyah? And why should you exclude that option? That was my question.
Okay. The truth of the matter is that the adults or older level of the Abayudaya really do not have an interest in making Aliyah. But the rejection of them as authentic Jews is really really hurts. They feel that Israel is a country that if it says you're Jewish, then everybody has to agree that you are Jewish. Whether that's factual or not is irrelevant. It's just a sense on their part that Israel's rejection of them as Jews impacts on them in terms of their position in world Jewry. I know people like Kulanu, and I know so many people now that are supportive of the Abayudaya, and it's pretty clear that a lot of people in the world Jewish community feel that they are Jewish. But they still feel that the legitimization of them by Israel is very important. More important to them, while they are not particularly anxious to make Aliyah, more important to them is that their children be able to get a Jewish education in Israel. They feel that as very, very important, that their kids should be able to go on Masa or be able to go on Birthright. They feel that the short and long-term programs of education in Israel are really, really important for the kids to be able to go on. And as present, since they are determined to be non-Jews by the Ministry of the Interior, they cannot participate in any of them. I know that Bonnie has been talking about getting visas for some people who want to study at Or Stone. I don't know how easy that is. People are asking me, how are you going to get the 12 or 10 or 12 representatives of the Abayudaya community into Israel? That's a long story, and we're working with lawyers who know this business very well. So that is that story. We are hoping that the presence of Abayudaya in Israel will make some difference because it will show the human face of the Abayudaya community. And most of the people that are coming are young. This is our kind of birthright program for the Abayudaya because nobody else is running one for them. So while the Abayudaya adults who are, the kind of first serious generation are not interested that much in Aliyah, the kids who are going to university and others who want to study in Israel, they may turn out to be Aliyah people that want to make Aliyah. And they will probably be bringing to Israel some talents and professions that will be useful there. We had two Abayudaya visitors recently, and when they were asked, what they feel about Israel, they said, the Abayudaya community is poor. We really can't give them give Israel much money, but we would join the IDF. I think that's an amazing statement. We can't give you money, but we give you our bodies. So I think
I was going to say, Rabbi, I don't want to interrupt, but I know there's a lot more questions and we have a few more minutes. People can stay on. If you can get me names of the Africans who want to serve in the IDF or agriculture, I would appreciate it because I'm working on a project to get them in. I was asked by people that they need 100 workers in hotels and agriculture. Can I get them? So I'm collecting names. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I'm working on a side project with that. Okay. Molly, can you ask the next question? And everybody should know Eddie, who asked that, is one of the founders of Kulanu. Okay. Molly, you want to ask the next question?
Linda just asked a question, Linda Friedman. Is this similar to the process for accepting Ethiopian Jews?
Yes. In a
Uh,
way.
What was the process for accepting the Ethiopian Jews as opposed to the Abayudaya?
Correct. Is it the same process that the Ethiopian Jewish community had to go
No.
through?
No, the Abayudaya are a community that converted and has a history of 100 years of not being converted formally, but of observing some form of Judaism. The first time that they really observed Judaism that is kind of recognized across the board universally in the world came about starting with 2002, when they made a decision that they wanted to become really seriously part of the world Jewish community. So their history is a history of convergence, not a history of being Jews for thousands of years. The Ethiopians laid claim to being Jews for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And that the reason that they didn't observe Judaism like everybody else was because they were separated from rabbinic Judaism for that period of time. So when they were recognized as Jews historically, they were able to come to Israel, but that wasn't easy. That in itself was not an easy process. I want you to know that they came to Israel and they had to convert, which was kind of interesting. After all, they were brought over as Jews with the right of rights attendant to the law of return, but they had to convert. The rabbinate had them convert. There's also the reality that there were 8,000 Ethiopian Jews left in Ethiopia and were not reunited with their families for 25 years. That 8,000 of them came very recently. So the record of Israel in terms of bringing over the Ethiopian Jews has not been terrific, although the Ethiopians have laid claim to 1,000 years worth of being Jewish and being able to show that. And it's clear that the Abayudaya are in a completely different situation because they're only 100 years old. Their Judaism was not normal or normative Judaism as we understand it, and conversion took place in order to make them full Jews. So it's a whole different ball game.
If I could just
I would add to, I would,
add one thing to this, because I know it quite well since I was involved in Ethiopian Jews from the beginning. When Haile Selassie was emperor before Mengistu, Israel gave visas to everybody in Ethiopia other than Jews because Israel was fearful the Jews would stay. And it wasn't until 1977 when Shamir was prime minister that Ethiopian Jews were recognized as Jews. It took 1977, and at that point, as you said, there were still issues. And I can only say, since I worked on I've been everywhere in the Soviet Union during this time, anybody who had whatever, whether they were Orthodox Christians or not, if they had Jew on their passport, their Soviet passport, internal passport, they were allowed into Israel. So for sure, I believe racism played a role.
Yeah, the Ministry of the Interior is hiding behind all kinds of conversion questions and legitimacy of conversions and that sort of thing. But the reality is, unfortunately, that really it's the color of the skin that's making the difference here.
I would like to put my 2 cents in, but I would like to say that some people think it's racism, but we all know that immigration and conversion is linked in Israel. And immigration is a big issue worldwide, who you let in and who you don't, not necessarily racist issues, but political issues and other issues. So, does racism play a part? I'm not the one to answer that question, but I do want to say this is a complicated process. I also want to know if people want to stay longer or we should close this process, because I see there's a lot more questions to be asked. You want to raise your hand if you want to stay? Should we close it? We usually leave in an hour. Okay,
Really
so I
only
tell you,
one more question, Bonnie.
okay,
There's a
go on.
lot of comments, but there's really one more question, which
Okay.
is about the trip. When is the trip scheduled, from Uganda to Israel, and how close are you to your fundraising goals? I think that's a good segue to close out.
Okay, just so how close are we to our fundraising goal? We are about a fifth in the direction of it. We have decided to do something a little bit different. We did make some money from the video, and we will continue making some money from the video, but in a little different way. If you go to our website, which is achva, achvah.org, you will see that we now have a scholarship appeal. It will cost $3,600 to support a single individual going on our pilgrimage and encounter in Israel for the Abayudaya community. If you can find a synagogue that's willing to give us $3,600, then we have one person who is already going to be given a ticket and hopefully a visa, and we will bring that person to Israel. We actually probably think of the necessity beyond the $36,000 to $40,000 that we'll raise, and we will probably have to go to grant institutions or organizations and specific philanthropists. There we go. Philanthropists to fill in some of the shortfall, but we are working very hard to get there, and we are very happy that Road of Shalom has decided to give us our first grant to bring one representative of the Abayudaya to Israel. There is also a committee that's formed in Uganda to begin to pick possible participants in this program, and we are working closely with them. Once they are picked, they will get some information about the history of Israel, Zionism, so they're not completely clueless about the state that they're going to visit. Now, it's pretty clear that none of this is going to happen until things quiet down in Israel. All of us know that everything is very much up in the air. So until there's some settling down of the matzav, of the situation, this program is kind of on hold. But we hope that by May of 2025, we will be able to take this group to Israel.
Okay, thank you. First I want to note that we have Big David Keki from Uganda here, and we have Bafalzer from Cameroon online here, and there are other names that I would love to say hello to that I recognize. Sort of in closing, Kulanu is a volunteer organization, and the way we are now in 33 countries, it's because of help from people like you. And it's not only financial aid that we need places where we can make speaking engagements. If you have contacts at JCCs or federations, we would love to have them and set up programming. We would also like Molly and I have put together a few podcasts. We see that our podcast has not been all that successful, and we would love you to look at Kulanu Matters or Diversity Central on Spotify and YouTube, and look and share our podcasts. You can listen to them in the car or just whenever you would listen to a podcast. The YouTube videos are beautiful because they have lots of beautiful footage and photos from our photo archive. We also would like you to share the contacts. Tell people about Kulanu if you want a watch party or some kind of thing. We need contacts for newspapers. If you know journalists in your area, the local Jewish newspaper, whatever, we would love to send out some articles there. Even Rabbi Michael might want to send something on Achva. We need the contacts that make sure we follow through on everything. Having said all that, I know we're, as a people, going through very difficult and trying times. I want to note here that there's Gordon Silverman. I know he's been working with Rabbi Michael on all of these programs. It was magnificent. We're hoping it was really magnificent. The work and the hours and the time that went into making these videos is extraordinary. And I want to thank everyone for coming. We're planning to have 100 Jewish brides soon on Zoom. She couldn't, Barbara Vinnick couldn't make it today. And I thank Rabbi Michael for filling in on the last minute. I thank you all for coming. And just, let's hold it together as a people. It's a really, really, really difficult time for us. Thank you for coming. And I think that, I should add that I think that the development of Jews in sub-Saharan Africa is a great hope for the Jewish people. We will be getting, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people who are interested in joining us. And it's certainly, we hear a lot about philo-Semitism, anti-Semitism, but these are philo-Semitic affinity groups, at least on the bottom line. If you accept their conversions and their Jewishness, that's up to you. But having said that, these are lovers of the Jewish people. And I hope, and I think they're part of our future. So thank you, everybody. If you have any questions or you want to reach me, you can send me an email at benita@kulanu.org, and hope to see you at the next Zoom.